Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to decode a key piece of tech that's working behind the scenes of pretty much every ad you see online. It's called the Data Management Platform, or DMP. Let's dive right in. So, have you ever been scrolling through your phone? You see an ad, and you just think to yourself, whoa, I was just thinking about buying that. It can feel a little bit like mind reading, right? But it's not magic. It's actually the solution to a huge challenge that every modern brand is facing: how to understand you from this giant ocean of digital clues you leave behind. And that right there is the heart of the modern data challenge. It used to be way simpler. A shop owner just knew what their regular customers bought. But today, that one purchase is just a single tiny piece of a much, much bigger and way more complicated puzzle. Just think about all the ways you might interact with one brand. You might like their post on social media, then browse their website on your laptop, maybe use their app on your phone, and then finally go buy something in their actual store. Every single one of those actions, a like, a click, a purchase, is a separate footprint. And for a business, trying to connect all those dots to see the one person behind them, that is a truly monumental task. So how in the world do they solve this puzzle? Well, they use a really powerful tool that basically acts as a central hub. You can think of it like a central nervous system that takes all these scattered pieces of information and finally makes sense of them all. And that tool, the hero of our story today, is the Data Management Platform, or as we'll be calling it from here on out, the DMP. Okay, so the official definition can sound a little academic, a little dry, but really, at its heart, a DMP does three really important things. It collects all of that scattered customer data, it organizes it into a nice, clear picture, and then it uses that picture to help marketers make much, much smarter decisions about advertising. So that's what it is, but how does this thing actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine that's driving this whole process. The whole thing really flows through four main stages. First, the DMP just gathers up all the raw data it can possibly find. Then it gets to work organizing it, basically turning chaos into order. From there, it slices that data into specific audience groups, or segments. And finally, it activates those groups in ad campaigns and analyzes the results to see what's working and what's not. Now, this gathering process pulls from three main places. You've got first-party data, which is all the info a company collects on its own. Then there's second-party data, which is just another company's first-party data that they've agreed to share. And finally, you have third-party data, which is bought from big data providers. By combining all three, the DMP is able to find as many pieces of that customer puzzle as it can. Okay, so with all this raw data collected, the DMP then acts like a super efficient librarian. It sorts everything imaginable by your behavior, your demographics like age and location, what kind of device you're on, and even your personal preferences. It literally transforms a mess into something orderly and useful. And this, right here, this is the core magic of the DMP. It takes in all that raw, messy, totally unorganized data, and what comes out the other side is something incredibly valuable, clearly defined audience segments. It's literally turning random noise into a crystal clear signal. Finally, it's time to put that data to work. These new audience segments get sent over to other platforms, like a DSP, which is basically a tool for automatically buying ads. But the job isn't done. The DMP keeps tracking how the campaigns are doing, feeding all those insights back into the system to make things better in real time. It's this constant loop of learning and improving. Okay, so that sounds like a whole lot of work. So why do companies go through all this trouble? Well, the payoff is huge, and it really boils down to three key advantages. First up is something called cross-channel consistency. This is all about making sure that you, the customer, get a single unified experience with the brand, no matter where or how you run into them. So by bringing together data from every single touchpoint, a brand can make its messaging totally consistent. So the discount you see in a social media ad is the exact same one that pops up in an email later. That kind of consistency, it builds brand recognition for sure, but maybe more importantly, it builds trust. The second big advantage is precision targeting. This is a total game changer. It's about moving away from those generic, one-size-fits-all ads and instead focusing on getting the perfect message to the right person at exactly the right moment. Using real-time data, marketers can create these hyper-specific audience groups. So what does that mean for you? Well, instead of seeing a generic ad for a car, you might see an ad for that specific family-sized SUV you were just researching last night. When an ad is that relevant, it feels helpful, not annoying. And that, of course, leads to way better engagement. And that brings us to number 3. For any business, this is the big one: increased return on investment, or ROI. It's really all about making every single advertising dollar work smarter, not just harder. By analyzing all that performance data, a DMP shows marketers exactly what's working and what's not. This lets them stop wasting money on ads that nobody's clicking on, and instead double down on the ones that are a hit. They can focus their budget where it's going to have the biggest impact, which pretty much guarantees a better financial return. As one of our sources puts it so well, a DMP is a major component in digital advertising. You see, it's not just another tool in the toolbox. It's a foundational piece of the entire system. It really is the engine that powers modern, data-driven marketing. So if you take away one thing, let it be this: DMPs are kind of like the alchemists of the marketing world. They take the raw, messy, basic element of customer data, and they literally transform it into the gold of actionable strategic marketing intelligence. Which really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Is data just something your business has, or is it an active intelligence that's actually working for you? A DMP is the very tool that makes that second option a reality. Thanks so much for joining us on The Explainer.